Hello, my friends. This is Lisa Hardy. Welcome back to the Sweet Paper Studios channel. I am so glad to have you here today because we are making a beautiful card with the Evergreen Elegance Bundle. This is a new favorite of mine. It comes from the Holiday Catalog from Stampin Up. And we've got a really beautiful stamp set that includes some really pretty images, but also some really great sentiments. And if you've been around my channel for any period of time, you know that I'm a big mixed font lover, so it's even better. And the bundle comes with this border tree punch, which is fantastic. So if you're not familiar with border punches, I'm going to show you how to use those. It's just a really great and simple tool that you can add to your craft room. Now, I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Canada, and if you don't already have a demonstrator, I would love to be yours. All of the products that I'm going to be using today are available in my online Stampin' Up! Shop, and I will post those links below. But before we go ahead and dive right into this card, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. Okay, so the card that we're going to make today is this pretty one right here. There is not really any die cutting with this card. It's straight stamps, ink, and paper. There is a circle on here. This is a 2 3/4 inch circle. You can use a punch, or if you don't have the punch, you can add in your layering circle dies if needed. So I'm going to show you how to create that, and we can go ahead and dive right in. So I do have my supplies here, and we're starting with a soft succulent card base. This is your standard 5.5 by 8.5 inches. And then we have a piece of basic white for the inside of our card. We have another piece of cardstock that is evening evergreen. And then I'm bringing in a couple of pieces from the Christmas Tidings Designer Series paper. And I'm just going to give you a sneak peek of that. I've gone through about 3 or 4 packs of this already. It is just beautiful paper with some beautiful patterns on it. So they are double-sided. So really, really pretty. So we've got a couple pieces of those. And then, as I said, we do have that circle punch out. And then you will need some 2 scrap pieces of 1 each of soft succulent and evening evergreen. So let's go ahead and fold our card base in half. I'm just going to use my bone folder to burnish those edges. We want that nice and crisp. And then we're going to do a little bit of layering. So our piece of Designer Series paper, this is like my favorite pattern out of the whole pack. It's so pretty. That's going to go right onto our evening evergreen cardstock. And my adhesive of choice today is the Stampin' Seal. So I will use that throughout this project. You'll also need to bring in some mini glue dots and some Tombow liquid glue as well that we'll be using a little bit later on. So I am going to just adhere this to the center. Now you'll end up with just a little border of that evening evergreen all the way around there. And maybe what I'll do is zoom in just a little bit more. There we go. So you can really see that much better. So this is just going to layer on top of our card base. It's going to go right in the center there. And what I love about this card is that while it does look intricate and like it took a lot of time, it actually takes no time at all. So I love being able to come up with a design that I can create multiples with, and I think this is one of those ones here. So that is where we'll end up with. It looks totally cute on its own, doesn't it? And while we're doing that, let's go ahead and take our basic white insert, and we're going to put that right in. Now I'm going to have all of the measurements for all of these pieces up on my blog, and I have that link in the description below. So I didn't want to say them all out loud because I don't want you to try to, you know, rush and write them all down. I'm going to have that all out for you on my blog. So make sure you click that link in the description below and you can have all the information about this card. All right, so that is the first part. Second part is that we're taking this second design. So we've got some hollies on this soft succulent design, and this is going to go right across the center of our card front, just like that. And I'm using a Stampin' Seal for this as well. And we will just put that right across the center. And there we go. So now we're going to do just a little bit of stamping. So we're going to bring over our circle punch out, and actually you're going to want to bring out a scrap piece of paper. So I have a grid paper that I've used, as you could see, and we're going to do a little bit of stamping. So the stamp that we're going to use right now is this tall Christmas tree right here. And for the sentiment for this card, we're going to use this one right here, that it's friends like you that make the season so wonderful. I am a sentimental girl, and I just love that so much. All right, so I already have the stamp mounted on my D block, and we're going to use the soft succulent ink for this. So I'm going to ink that up. And I don't really want anything too dark, so I'm actually going to stamp off twice. Okay, so once you stamp off, we're just going to sort of just go down and add a little bit of a scenery here. And I'm just doing varying trees of different heights. And you'll end up with 4, just like that. Okay, don't worry if they don't fill in down here, that's fine. I mean, you could press a little bit firmer and get that filled in, but we're actually going to cover up the bottom, so I'm not too concerned about that. So after you do that, I'm going to close my soft succulent ink. We're going to bring out the evening evergreen ink, and we are going to stamp our sentiment. Now I also already have that. That is mounted on my D block, and I'm going to ink that up. And I'm going to make sure that this grid paper is straight, because I want to make sure that my sentiment is as straight as possible. And actually what I might do is move this out of the way. There we go. And then I can use this just to line that up, make sure it's straight as possible. So I'm going to come in, and I'm just going to sort of tuck this right at the top, but within the circle. Just like that. And so, let me give you a closer look at that. I'll end up with something like that. Okay, and that's all of the stamping that we're going to do for this card. So I'm going to move that out of the way. And we're going to bring over this fabulous border punch. So it does have a locking mechanism on the back, and we can just push that and it will open. And so we want to bring over 2 pieces of cardstock, 1 evening evergreen, 1 soft succulent. And what we're going to do is just put our cardstock in there and give that a press. Okay, and then if I pull that out, let me see, you see that we have those really cute trees there. Now we want to continue on, and that's where these markings come into play, right? So this on either side actually turns into a little template for you. So what you're going to do is your trees that were just cut, they fit into that little template right there. And I'm actually going to set this down and do that. And that allows you to line up the trees each and every time. So if I press this again and do another punch out, those trees just continue in line, and you don't have to worry about anything cutting off. You don't have to worry about them not being sort of at the same height and level. So it's just really great. So depending on how long you want your piece, I mean, you can just keep going to however length that you want. Now this is all that I need currently, so I'm just going to trim those ends. And then, you know, look at these. They're so cute, just like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the soft succulent paper as well. So giving that a nice press, moving it over and just lining up with that little template there. And then giving that another little press, and then you have these fabulous trees. So I'm going to trim those, and that's all of the punching that we're going to do. So I'm going to throw these out, and what we're going to do is we are going to add some detail at the bottom of our sentiment piece. So right there, we are going to add the trees right in front there. So big tree to big tree, and this is where we're going to bring in our tombow, and I'm just going to add a little bit of tombow on each of these trees. So you don't need a ton, just a little bit, and then we are going to add these trees just like that. So I'm giving them a press. And then we want to, let me see if I can move those down, straighten them out a bit. Okay, and then I'm going to actually trim the excess in the shape of the circle. So I'm going to just follow the edges of the circle and trim those down. And then we've got something that looks like that. But we're not done yet. We want to add a little bit more detail and depth to this, and we're going to overlap our evening evergreen. We're going to create a beautiful scenery just like that. Okay, so what we're going to do, actually let me see if I can, yeah, let's just leave it like that. And what we're going to do is add some tombow on the back of this as well. So I'm just adding a little bit here. And I think I added some to the last one that I didn't need to. But we're just going to sort of line that up in between the soft succulent ones. And there we go. And we're going to trim those down as well. Okay, so just like that. Now I think I do want to add a little bit of greenery there. So I'm actually going to just cut this here. Let's see if we can make this work. And just add a little extra piece of the top of this extra tree just to help fill that gap. So I'm going to do that and see if I can get this to stick, because it is a small piece. There, just like that. And how beautiful does that look? Oh, it looks so good. All right, so I'm going to move my glue out of the way, move over the excess pieces, and then we are going to pop this up on some Stampin' Dimensionals. And this is gonna go, and you know what, I'm gonna add one inside. We are going to put this right in the center of our card front. And I just want to make sure that's nice and straight. I think it is. Just like that. Oh, how good does that look already? We're not quite done. There's just a couple more things we got to do. And that is, I'm taking out some of this gold trim from the Simply Elegant trim. And I'm going to cut this into 2 pieces. And we're going to tie a double bow with this. So I'm going to do that. And making sure, just adjusting, making it nice and tight. There we go. And then we are going to take a mini glue dot, and I'm just gonna like fold one in half here with my pick tool. And I'm going to add that to the back center of the gold trim, and we're going to put that right down in the center of where the trees are. And I'm just going to trim these down a little bit. And then the last thing we're going to do is add some of these beautiful gilded gems. So I'm going to add 2 down here, and I'm just using the medium size for this, and then 1 up here, and then our card is now complete. How beautiful is this? And so, you know, if you pre-cut all your pieces, you can do multiples if you need to. But so beautiful, pretty quick, I would think. And I just love the Evergreen Elegance bundle. It's beautiful. So I didn't deviate from my original design, as you could see, but I just love it, and I hope you do too. I want to thank you for watching my video today. If you haven't already, as I said, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to head over to sweetpaperstudios.com and subscribe to my newsletter. I always send PDF project tutorials, info about upcoming classes and workshops, and all that fun stuff. So I will end it there. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.